welcome back to Constellation Station. I'm Nicole from the Cincinnati Observatory, and here at Constellation Station we like to do three things. We like to learn a little bit about constellations, we like to figure out where we can find them up in the night sky, and we like to learn how we can make constellations in our own homes. So today is an extra sweet episode because I'm using some candy to help connect the dots. So this is one of those pull apart Twizzlers that I'm using today. Ooh, that one didn't pull apart very well. So I'm using these individual strands made into a rope to help connect the dots. So this is the rope we're going to be using today to connect our dots. And I'll post a tutorial on Instagram later to show you guys how I made my Twizzler rope. Thank you for the idea from my mom, who watches this every week. She thought it would be a great idea to connect the dots with Twizzlers, and I'm really excited to see how it goes today with our special constellation. So today we're talking about a constellation Libra, and this constellation, you've heard of it before, but by the name it's hard to tell what it really is. And even when I tell you what it is, it still might take a lot of imagination. This is one of those constellations where you really have to use your imagination. So I hope you all have your imaginations turned all the way up this morning so that we can figure out what this constellation is and what it looks like. So this constellation is Libra, and Libra as a constellation is kind of sideways right now. So this is the tippy top of our constellation, and this is a constellation of scales. So I brought a picture with me today because I thought maybe some of you wouldn't be familiar with sort of the old-timey scales that this constellation is designed after. And the scales of our constellation, I want you to think of them as the scales of justice. So you may have seen this symbol before when it comes to justice in the United States. So this is another constellation that has had a lot of influence on our own culture. So this constellation of scales of justice, maybe a long time ago, right? These scales were seen as a way of balancing weights and measures, so we would have used it in transactions and things like that, and now we use it to weigh justice. So that sort of idea of justice and fairness has been carried on through this symbol that we can still see up in the night sky. So let's go ahead and connect the dots and see if we can see the scales in our constellation today. And remember, they're sideways and it's going to take a lot of imagination, so we're actually going to make them to look something like this. All right, so let's take my Twizzlers rope here, and hopefully you guys also have all of your patience this morning, because we'll see how long it takes me to attach this Twizzler rope here to our constellation. So we're going to start actually down here at the bottom and go around with our Twizzler rope. So far, so good. Trying to avoid my piercing my stars here. Now, what's really important about using Twizzlers for this is that I'm using a sheet as my background. So I'm using these pins that sometimes we use for sewing to help attach my Twizzler rope to my constellation station. If you're using paper or trash bag, you can probably still do this. It just might be a little bit trickier. Let's see. I'll have to add another pin, extra pin up here. So sometimes astronomers also connect the dots from here to here. So we might try to do that with our Twizzler rope. We're just gonna have to make a little break in between. So now we can add some extra pins. So like I said, I'm using pins I use for sewing. So I have this sort of pin wheel here. And so each pin that I'm using, you can use maybe safety pins. Depending on what material you're using, you could always find creative ways to attach our Twizzlers. So if you have any other ideas of what to use, please share it with us. So far so good. All of our Twizzlers are kind of sticking together. Kind of came apart right there, but we made up for it. Just one more pin. Down here at the bottom, one in the middle. And there we go. It's our Libra scales. Here we're using our imagination like this. It looks a little bit more wiggly than maybe a scale would normally look. The scales would normally look because of our Twizzlers. Thank you for the idea, Mom. If you guys have any ideas of how to connect the dots for our constellations, please let me know. I love hearing your creative ideas on what to do here in Constellation Station. And I'm sure, especially if you have any candy suggestions, I would definitely love that. So Libra, like I said, are the scales of justice. We see them in culture, and I'm going to tell you how to see them out in the night sky now. So our scales are kind of difficult to see, so this is going to take some extra special focus from our eyes, or if you have a pair of binoculars, this might be a good constellation to try to find with binoculars as well. So what you want to do is look in the southern sky between the south and southwestern sky around 9:30 at night. Maybe not tonight or tomorrow. It's pretty cloudy here in the Cincinnati area, but if you live someplace else, you can definitely go and check outside to see if you can find Libra up in the night sky in the southwestern sky, with this side closer to the south, this side closer to the southwest, and see it stretching across the sky. So one way to find the constellation as well is to look maybe for Antares, which is the really bright, sparkly red star that we've talked about before on the program, the heart of our scorpion. And you can use that to help find the rest of these stars over here. So I want you to think of the scorpion being right here and Libra taking up the rest of the sky kind of over here to the right of our scorpion. Thank you guys for watching today. Please, as always, tag us in your pictures on Instagram if you find the constellation out in the night sky. If you can take a picture, if you make a constellation at home, if you have any material suggestions, just hashtag Constellation Station. You can tag the Cincinnati Observatory in it, and we'd be happy to share it and see what you guys do on your own. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next Thursday.